Go live and babble about miscellaneous things. Going live.
Sounds good. As I slowly open everything that I should have already had open.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's amazing how distracted you can get singing along to songs when you have the lyrics in front of you. It's like, oh, that's what they're saying.
Yeah, well, that's what they're saying. The new website for WP Pro A to Z Host is now live, tested. It registers domains and hosting.
Excellent.
And for anyone who wanders in here during the pre-stream, go check it out. 50% discount on first year's hosting with WP Pro A to Z Host.
That is awesome.
Now all I got to do is get a commercial prepared up for the show. But I'm rather stoked about it.
Yeah, man.
Good looking.
You did an amazing job.
It's a good looking website. Pick up a few options such as CodeGuard, marketing SEO tools, all ready to be put in there, even premium SSL certificates.
Your alter ego said that she can hear me, but not really you.
Not really me. That might be because I'm just mumbling. It's pre-stream time. How about if I actually start talking the way I'm supposed to talk, and I'll talk in the show. Can you hear me now?
Well, I'm still waiting on your alter ego to let me know.
Yeah, well, it takes 30 seconds for it to arrive there. Oh, hey, Hemdian, how you doing?
Always good to see you. Glad you can make it.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah, I'm really happy about this site. That's 2 websites.
Oh, there you are. Apparently you're heard now.
Oh, yeah. See, all I got to do is talk instead of mumble. We can sit there and mumble, just say, yeah, well, this is kind of cool. When this little thing over here and, whatever's. Bloody kids. All right. I am excited about this one. I'm excited to see if it actually starts bringing in some business. So, hosting, everything else I've tested it. I haven't tested the ticketing system yet. I got to do that. I got to get some tickets sent into it. I even connected it up to my phone, so I'll get notices on my phone when purchases are made, so I could deal with it if I'm away from the computer, because it does not auto create accounts for stuff. I have to verify that it's an actual human there, not a scammer.
Hemdian said, now you tell me about the hosting discount? I literally moved 2 WP sites this weekend, still waiting on domain name transfers.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought I'd mentioned it previously, but we hadn't really been talking about it.
Not really.
Hadn't really been talking about it. This has been a project I've been working on for the last few months. I'm 6 months ahead of schedule on launching it. I wasn't really planning to launch it till December, but a bug got up my butt, and I decided to move ahead and just tough it out and get everything done. I can't think. I've probably put maybe 80, 100 hours into it.
At least.
Not just the site design, but all the technical stuff in the background, connecting it up to the domain reseller, connecting it up to the resellers items in here, the automation, the testing of it, the fact that I had a design that wasn't that I'd gotten too much critique on. It's like, okay, well, let's throw that out. And I redid the design all day yesterday. I completely redesigned it. I think I spent about 6 to 8 hours on it yesterday, just completely redesigning the site.
That's amazing.
So I was really quite happy with the way it turned out this time, though. And the main critiquer on it that tested it out for me today said, yep, everything good. Just one minor thing. You need to share the hosting thing up in the top menu bar. Oh, good. I'll go fix that now. Click, 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 click. There, done.
Shared hosting thing?
Well, in the menu at the top, if they want, they see it in the shop, they just click on shared hosting. They go straight to the hosting plans that are available.
Oh, okay.
Good quality hosting, very fast, Very fast. Limited storage, though. I have to keep the storage kind of limited for folks, just to make it, more fair on it, on the servers. So on the whole, quite a good thing. Now it's time to launch it out. Yeah, I just announced a coupon deal for it today. 50% off discount.
which is awesome. How long is that going to last for?
For the month of July.
Brilliant. Tomorrow is the 4th of July, so all of the U.S. is going to be celebrating.
Oh, good for them. They need to celebrate.
They do.
Not that they have a hell of a lot to celebrate, but they need to celebrate. They're as bad as Canada. Canada Day this year seemed like it was really kind of just meh.
Very low key, yeah. I was expecting fireworks and I was expecting like things to happen around town, and nothing really did.
I fell asleep early, so I don't know if anyone around town fired off fireworks or not.
They didn't. I mean, just down the way, it sounded like some little baby fireworks were set off, probably for younger kids.
Well, last year it was a big show.
Yeah, no, there was nothing this year. It was weird. I was expecting something to happen.
I guess people are in low key mode after 3 years of insanity. So, at any rate, it all slowly starts to come together. We get all of this piled up, things and items and stuff, lots of stuff.
I think I just breathed a fruit fly.
Oh, extra protein. Extra protein for your diet.
Terrible.
Oh, we had risk of fires last year when everyone was firing off fireworks.
Yeah, but then again, we have a lot more fires this year.
Yeah, they've been very judicious about setting the fires everywhere this year.
Yeah, man, there's been a few people who have been nabbed because they were happily being firebugs all across the provinces.
Yeah. Last year, I guess they didn't get the firebugs out in time.
Yeah, I guess that could be why more people were being more careful, because we have had extra fires this year, but I'm sad. I was hoping for fireworks.
Yeah, well, so be it. All right, on that sad note, let's have a little music and go into showtime.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Hey, shall we get going?
Absolutely.
Off we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Breaking through with great WordPress plugins. It's episode 605, and we have plugins for reloading login limits, bottoming the admin bar, and WordPress news, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today, coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. And with me is I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever lovely
Amber overall.
And we got the usual great show for you today, and I got a couple of quick things I just want to do because it looks so cool. You can now get yourself fantastic hosting from WPPro A2Z Host.com. Go check it out. And for the month of July, if you go find a coupon code on the website, you can get 50% off your first year's hosting. That is to celebrate Canada Day and the fact that I launched this 6 months early. So go check it out. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to blab about today. It's hot, sunny, great summer weather. With all of that being said, well, I should.
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
I hope you never get rid of that.
You just love it too much.
So welcome to episode 605, breaking through with great WordPress plugins. We've got a couple great in-depth plugins to cover for you, some recent news in both the WordPress world and the tech world in general, and some awesome WordPress tips. Hoping everyone out there is taking care of themselves in the heat as summer has decided to come back with a bit of a vengeance. It went away for a while, now it's really back. Remember, you need to ingest salt alongside of all that water. Otherwise, your body won't actually hold on to the water and you end up washing out all the good stuff. Some reminders before we start the show today. Remember that the show starts at 12:30 Pacific time with a pre-stream starting around 12:15 Pacific time. Pre-stream is where we twiddle with the dials and knobs and really just warm up our voices, so join in for some entertainment value. Our show notes for each episode can be found at WPPluginsA2Z.com. The newest show notes will be up within 24 hours and on our front page. And don't forget, this is a value for value show, and you are a big part of this show's creation. As our producers, we need you to help us to produce. Get on out there, hit some like buttons, share an episode or two, and let people know that you helped to produce the longest running WordPress plugins podcast. That's it for reminders. So let's start the show off with today's artist.
There we go.
And today's artist is, I believe, Jay Saliba?
No, Alemos.
Alemos.
Alemus. That's all
Okay.
I got.
And you noted it still said Jay Saliba, and I wasn't sure, so.
That's because I didn't change the notes. I forgot.
Evil person.
It's your job to double check my notes.
You suck. Well, I do love the picture, though.
Yeah.
It makes me think of a snapshot of explorers discovering the new world, which I guess it kind of is a new world when you really think about it, because the one place we haven't really explored is the Great North, way up there where it's...
North Pole? We've explored more of the North Pole than we have the South Pole.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. For some reason, I thought we hadn't. I thought it was the other way around.
Yeah, this is just a nice picture of a submarine coming up through the ice up in the North Pole area. Maybe not be precisely the North Pole, but pretty close to it.
It just looks so cool.
Yeah, it's quite a cool picture.
So if anyone out there is feeling inspired, feel free to send us in some art. We are still pulling from our art vaults, and we haven't had anything new recently. We would love to get some new art. If you're feeling inspired, you can head on over to WPPluginsA2Z.com/artwork. You can also look through the art vaults yourself and maybe get some ideas. Now for the news.
Alrighty.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! And now the news with Amber.
All right, so let's start with the WordPress vulnerability report for June 28, 2023. There's actually a surprisingly small list of new vulnerabilities this week. However, the list of patched plugins is rather extensive. I think it was like 114 are patched and only something like 40, 45 for the unpatched. For the unpatched, the ones I most easily recognize are WP Cookie Notice for GDPR, CCPA, and e-privacy, Form Builder, Image Protector, and Upload Resume. There is one theme vulnerability named Balkon, Balkon. So if you're using that theme, pay attention.
Absolutely. I suggest you just toss all themes out and load up Elementor and the Hello theme.
It works really well.
It does. It works very well.
Makes things a lot easier. So if you need, be sure to check out the link in our show notes so you can go through this list yourself. It's always good to know which ones have been patched and which ones are in need of a patch. Next, we have hackers actively exploiting unpatched privilege escalation vulnerability in Ultimate Member plugin. So this vulnerability was allowing unauthenticated attackers to create new user accounts with admin privileges, and they were taking over people's site. It has since been patched, although it is good to be aware of how they did this and to give your member list a once-over to see if anything stands out. Generally, they choose names that tend to stand out. Plus, you look at the member list, see what kind of access they have. If they're set as admin, they shouldn't be. Delete them immediately.
Yep. Always keep an eye on the admins you have in your site.
Yes. So do check this out because this article does explain a little on how this was done and what was going on. As I mentioned, it has since been patched. If you haven't upgraded your Ultimate Member plugin, be sure to do so soon. ASAP, really.
Yep.
And give the article a check. Next up, reusable blocks renamed to patterns with synced and non-synced options.
That makes so much sense. Let's not call them reusable blocks anymore. We're just going to call them patterns.
Yeah, well, it is a little confusing for some.
They had something perfectly logical, and they decided, no, we don't want logic here.
Well, the problem is that for the reusable blocks, like, they could sync them, and the reusable blocks, I can't even explain it. I think they explain it really well in here. The whole reason why they changed is so that people can either choose to sync or unsync them, and they've taken away the two separate categories.
Why couldn't you have reusable blocks that you could sync or unsync? Now they're patterns, but what's a pattern? A pattern can be anything.
True.
So that's where I'm going with this. And, I mean, okay, good for them for doing it, I guess, but yeah.
Non-synced patterns are just regular patterns. Those that can be edited independently of other instances that have been inserted. So it's going to be kind of confusing for everyone who uses Gutenberg to kind of get used to this, I think. It confuses me when I was reading it. So,
well, that's the whole point. But let's not stick with the logic that works. Let's add in something that doesn't, or that confuses people until they finally adapt to it. And then one day we'll switch it back just for fun. They've done that too.
For those using Gutenberg, be aware.
There you go. Be aware. They've changed it on you. They went from something you understood to something like, what the hell is a pattern? So,
yeah. Next, we have WordPress 6.3 will introduce a command palette.
What's a command palette?
Well, this is actually an update on the spirited debate on calling the command center the Wayfinder. Now it's going to be called the command palette. Because nobody liked the name Wayfinder.
Well, no, because it makes no sense, but okay.
No. It appears that the command center will now be referred to as command palette. You can read the article in depth to find out why this seems to be the chosen name.
Because command center didn't make any sense.
So it's now command palette.
All right.
So
we'll run with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Logic.
Next up,
computers love logic. That's what computers are based on, is logic. They don't do well with illogic.
Well, WP feature notification contributors seek feedback on admin notices with community survey. So anyone who's interested in adding their 2 cents regarding the current system and notices in the WordPress admin, be sure to check out the link here in our show notes so you can become an active party in this survey. Perhaps if enough of us enter into the survey, we can get the notices to drop down a bit.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, well, they were a great idea when they were invented, and then developers figured out how to abuse them. So.
All right, my last random one for everyone. UK police report epidemic of Android false emergency calls. So the users of Android phones are being urged to temporarily turn on emergency SOS feature. As it appears, a recent update in Android smartphones has been sending calls, silent calls.
Oh, see?
The reason for this is because a new feature update has set it so that if the power button is pressed 5 or more times consecutively, it sends out an SOS.
Yeah, see, there's a lovely thing to automate things.
Yeah, so that's something that can really easily happen if you chuck your phone into your bag or you throw it in your back pocket and move around.
Yeah. Or you're just trying to turn the damn thing on and it doesn't want to respond. You just keep clicking it.
Yeah. So this could be entertaining if it weren't such a nuisance, although I have to admit I'm kind of entertained by it.
Yeah, I'm entertained by it too. I'm entertained by the fact that it was an update.
Yeah.
Which most people get their updates automatically, which means it was automatically crammed in on them and they didn't have a chance to find out if it's got a problem.
Hemdian said a couple of entertaining things here.
What's that?
Don't you love how those article titles just roll off the tongue?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
They do. They roll off the tongue beautifully.
Changing the name of something understood sows confusion that buys time for the devs to deliver something.
Yes.
I love it.
There you go. There's the reason behind it.
So in our extras, we have some more WordPress information, like the WordCamp 2024 schedules are already being called in. Something interesting, Twitter limits number of tweets users can read amid extended outage.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of people screaming about that too on Twitter, which I find entertaining. And then Elon tweeted out, well, one of the reasons I did this was so that you'd put your phone down and go outside and see that there's a sky out there. Something like that. That's paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But basically they're saying, yeah, I want people to walk away from it from time to time. Don't just sit there scrolling for hours and days. All right, well, with all of that, let's wander forward. All right, it's time to talk about plugins. And the ones I've got for you today, right off the bat here, I've got Limit Login Attempts Reloaded. Now, this is a very useful plugin I discovered when I installed it, activated it, set it all up just to make sure of how it's going to work, is that it helps you out by stopping or slowing down the brute force attacks that happen to your WordPress website. Yes, they happen to your website too on a constant and devious basis continually, and you can't get rid of them. And this one here, when you set it up, the setup is very easy and straightforward. You just go install it, activate it, go in there and choose the number of minutes, the number of times failed login attempts will get blocked. 4 or 5 is a good number for people that are actually trying to log in. Anything past that, they should, rethink themselves. It automatically locks it down after 4 failed login attempts for forever how many number of minutes you want to set to it. You can set it to 5, 10, 24 hours, everything's got to be set in minutes. And you just set it all up. Then what happens is if it continues after 4 login attempts, it will lock them for a further amount of time down and keep them out of your site. Now, this plugin does have some premium additions to it. The premium versions will allow you to do things such as have an auto IP block list imported from their cloud server, so that it blocks everything up there. The premium ones will automatically add IP addresses to your block list for you. You can also get in there and block by country with it. you can access the cloud optimizer. And what they do with that is the traffic that is trying to hit your site and be blocked is shunted off of your site into their cloud server, so it doesn't actually impact your site's performance. I'm not sure how that's done, but it's really kind of cool. And of course,
That sounds really cool.
it's got some functions to it. It seems like it's a really great plugin. I only got to try out the free version. I am, with a little luck, going to be interviewing the developer on this plugin later today. So we'll find out how it goes with him and talk with him a bit more. So look for that interview coming out in about a week or two. And on the whole, I found it to be a great plugin, very easy to use, very easy to set up, and it seems to be stopping login attempts on my website I put it on, which was one that was constantly getting batted against. So anything you can do to help stop the batting against your website, you want to do it. So go check this one out. It's called Limit Login Attempts Reloaded, and I gave it a 4 Dragon rating only because it's the free version, not the premium version. Go check it all out.
All right. WordPress tips.
Oh, yes, we go.
I almost heard something.
Oh, no. I don't know why. It doesn't like you.
No, it doesn't. All right, so for this section, we would love to hear some tidbit tips from some of our producers out there, like things that you figured out by breaking something and having to fix it, or something that you had to figure out in order to help someone else. Send in these little tidbits and we'll throw them in here for others. So on making sites, when you are making sites and looking for plugins for said sites, make sure you actually read the description thoroughly. Not just look to see if it does what you are looking for. Oftentimes in the description, there will be bits further down that tell you whether they will work with whatever theme you are using, if they're just meant for a block editor, or if they won't work with your current theme or site editor, so on and so forth. Also, be sure to check out the last time this plugin was updated, because while sometimes plugins that are older and have not been updated in a while will still work, generally, if they haven't been updated for a while, they're most likely going to create issues or just break your site.
Well, you got the problem too of if they haven't been updated in a while, they might not work with PHP 8.
Yeah, and that's something definitely to be paying attention to right now since we're still in the transition phase.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard somebody mention today that it's kind of like the Y2K bug. We're coming up on deadlines for PHP 8, and if your site's not up to date, it's going to crash and burn. Not all of them are, but there's a crap load. So far, it's been about 70% of the sites I've done did not go straight to PHP 8.
And I got some beginner's tips. When searching for a specific plugin, don't be afraid to download a bunch of plugins that look like they might work, but don't activate until you have a few collected. And as you're trying them out, only activate one at a time. You activate one at a time, test it out, see if it does what you want, then completely deactivate it and make a note on whether or not it seems like it'll work for what you're looking for. Go through them one by one as you're doing this. Because if you have 2 plugins that are meant for the same thing, like say you have 2 SEO plugins that are activated at the same time, they kind of counteract each other, so you won't be able to thoroughly test it.
Yep, they'll get in each other's way.
Yeah, so don't be afraid to download a whole bunch. Just make sure you only have one activated at a time. Make a note on each one. There's a bunch of plugins out there that allow you to make a notation on the plugins that you can make a reminder for yourself about what happened with this plugin, so you don't have to try and remember it all. And if you actually find a plugin that seems like it does everything you want to do, still deactivate it and continue going through the rest of them. Because MDN said activate one at a time. Where's the fun in that?
Yeah. You can do like I did once, I had a test site. I think I had 170 plugins running all at the same time.
But yeah, don't stop testing out plugins just because you think you found one that does everything you need it to do. Continue testing them out until you reach the end of the list that you collected, because you might find one that does everything you need it to do plus everything you want it to do. Yeah. So it's always worth taking the extra time to do that. A lot of time is spent testing and trying out different things and comparing. This will often feel like lame busy work, but you'll actually learn quite a bit by doing this. And you'll end up finding exactly what you need and be able to use it time after time.
Absolutely. Alrighty.
And now for my plugin. So my plugin is a really simple plugin. It's called Bottom Admin Toolbar. I don't know about other people, but I like having the admin toolbar as I'm working because it gives me that shortcut to get to where I need to go. And I do find myself getting frustrated, though, with the admin bar at the top because it cuts off a bit of the top of the page. And when you're working on like the header, it can be really frustrating to have that little bit cut off. Or when you're trying to get a sense of what the page or site looks like overall, you're missing that little top bit, and it can make a difference, can make a huge difference. So this plugin, what it does is it takes your admin toolbar and just puts it down at the bottom. Very simple, very useful. If you need your admin toolbar to go back to the top, you just deactivate the plugin. This is plug and play, totally free plugin. Says that it will do, or it does exactly what it says it will do. Plays nice with others. There's no ads, nothing to think about. Really cool, very simple. I really like this, and I give it a 5 dragon rating.
Very cool. Yeah, that would be nice. I didn't know they had a plugin like that to move the bar to the bottom.
I should mention this is a new plugin. This is fresh out of the box. Doesn't seem to have any issues. It's being nicely kept up to date, and I really like it.
That explains why I never heard of it before.
Yeah.
I haven't looked to see what new plugins they've had in quite a while. I've been going through a whole list of older plugins that I have.
Yeah, the new plugins, it seems like a lot of the newer plugins are basing themselves around SEO and dealing with the blocks for Gutenberg.
Well, that's the big rage, is the blocks in Gutenberg right now for those that are using Gutenberg. We've managed to avoid Gutenberg with Elementor, which Elementor is basically a Gutenberg of its own.
Yeah, it is.
So I just like their interface better than the Gutenberg interface. I swear to God, they didn't plan it. They didn't use logic when planning Gutenberg. All right.
So on to our producer know-how and donations.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
So one of the things you can do is you can earn yourself a producership credit. We have 3 levels of producers that help to keep the show's larder stocked to the bursting. We have our freelance producers, backroom producers, and warroom producers. There are special perks for backroom and warroom producers that you can learn about on our site, wppluginsatoz.com. All you need to do is go to the main menu and click on Time, Treasure, or Talent Donations. And you can learn all the nitty-gritty details right there. You can also look at our show notes. We have a basic description under the different headings for freelance, backroom, and warroom producers. You can also join in and be part of your own production and support the show at the same time. There are loads of ways to use us as your tool to get out there, like getting an interview, leaving a review for a plugin, or donating your own plugin review or your own plugin license. I recommend you give it a go and see how it helps. You can check out our show notes in this section to see all the ways to be part of your own production. Good for you, good for us, good all around. Let's see. We don't seem to have had anyone send anything in for this week, unfortunately. Either, the bird got lost on the way to us. We do have some miscellaneous announcements, though. If anyone out there has an announcement like a meetup or to announce that you'll be on stage at WordCamp, you can send in that information to us and we'll add it here and help you get your news out to the world. If you're interested in finding a WordPress meetup somewhere around the world, you can go and check it out at meetup.com/pro/WordPress. The next WordPress Victoria meetup will be on July 6th. Usually they aim for the 1st, but I think because July 1st is Canada Day, they moved it. They aim to have this every month. So if you're in Victoria and want to join the WordPress Victoria meetup, go there and check it out. You can find the link in our show notes. There are now 2 WordCamps happening in July. One is in the Philippines and one is in India. You can find out more through the link in the show notes. And if you want to reach us, we do have a brick and mortar address for you. which I am so sticking with brick and mortar even after our debate last week or the last show we had.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Today's plugins we covered were...
I covered up the limit login attempts reloaded by limit login attempts reloaded. Helps stop brute force attacks, optimizes your site performance by limiting login attempts, and blocks IP username when limit number has been reached, and a bit more.
And I covered Bottom Admin Tool by Michael Revelin Clark. This moves your admin bar to the bottom of the page, clears out the top area so you can more easily see your site, and it is an awesomely simple plug and play. Question and answer time.
It's question and answer time with John and Amber.
If anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked here on the show, you can send them in to me at amber@wppro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad. Perhaps one of these questions will stump him today.
Maybe.
First question. How do you know whether you need to add additional security into your site? Like, what signs are you looking for? What do you experience?
Somebody hacked into your site.
What signs are you looking for? Think about it like you're explaining it to someone who doesn't even go online.
I don't know how to explain what to do. Depends on what your site's doing, I suppose. If your site starts slowing down regularly, for no apparent reason, you might want to add something like limit login attempts, because the number of them attacking your website like that will slow it down. Having unexplained slowdowns on your site is a reason for adding extra security. You've got a membership section, added security is needed. You got an e-store, added security is needed. Pretty much for anything, I guess. I really don't know how to explain it.
So really just look for your site slowing down?
That's the biggest one, is site slowing down. I don't know what else to describe in it. If you ever see unexplained admins in there, you really need to figure out your security.
All right. Next question. How do you figure out which security plugin to use?
Yes. Roll the dice. Draw straws. Do like Hemdian suggested. Put all the names into an Excel spreadsheet and use a random function generator to pick. I mean, they all do similar stuff. They do it differently. And there's so many of them. You'll get the ones that you like the interface in. It makes more sense to you. Like there's a couple of them like iTheme Security. I don't like it because I don't like their interface. It's a great plugin.
Mm-hmm.
Works well, does its job, but I don't like the interface. It's not very intuitive to me. WordFence I've liked for years. I liked their interface until they changed it, and then and all the plugins, like every other plugin, they'll go through their ups and downs of being good and then not doing the job 100% and then being good again, as of course it's an arms race between the hackers and the security preventers. Who's winning this week. But there are a ton of security plugins out there, and there's a ton of little add-on securities such as the limit login attempts. There's the black hole for bad bots, which is another security plugin. The simple ones that just drop stuff out in the background you don't even see, and you don't have to manage anything. There's the ones to manage your usernames and passwords, and there's the firewalls that get put up. There's so many to choose from. So it's like I'm not even sure which one I favor right now, because I've not been overly happy with the functionality of WordFence lately. It's been slowing down sites on me again. It was a problem they had years ago, and then they solved it, and it was great. But now it slows down your site. Some security plugins do slow down your site because all those functions have to occur before certain events that happen. So it's hard. You just have to put one on, see how it works for you, and if you like it, go with it.
Hemdian added a bit of an answer for my first question there.
What's that?
Strange content appears advertising Rolexes, ED pills, etc.,
yes.
or crypto coins.
Yes, they've got that problem too. I forgot about the pharma spam.
Pharma spam?
I haven't seen it in a long time. For a while, there was just enough holes in WordPress and plugins where the pharma hacks were happening, and they would hack into a website only to be able to create tons of posts, and they didn't even show up in your site. They went into your database and they showed up for search engines. It was the most insidious kind of thing, and it was all about, let's get your boner pills here, get your this, that pill, or so yeah, the pharma spam. I haven't seen it in a while, but other strange content does appear regularly. But older WordPress websites are still attacked with the pharma spam. Crypto coins was a big one a couple 3 years ago. They hack your website and they put a crypto miner on your website. And they used your website to mine cryptocurrency.
All right.
So, yeah, but those things there generally cause slowdowns on your website.
All right. Well, that's it for those 2 questions. I'll ask my next 2 after the credits.
All right. For all of you out there listening in the download regular podcast, hey, go check out the YouTube version for more entertainment, more questions, and the end of the show stuff. After all, we'll just let our girl take us on out of here now.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsa2z.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsa2z.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsa2z.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsA2Z. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today. Alrighty then. Got a couple of things there from Hemdian. You want to take it? Goes into the last couple of questions. Okay, you're on mute, so nobody can hear you. Or you vanished entirely. I'm left out here hanging in the wind by myself. Alrighty then. I will just continue on as if I didn't notice that in the least.
Hello. Sorry.
Oh, you disappeared from the mic entirely.
Well, I had to chase down a cat. So.
Okay, well, at any rate, there was a couple things here Hemdian added in from the last couple of questions. He added in, and SEO services appear on the website. Yeah, and as I commented, absolutely what you need after your site's been hacked is SEO services to fix everything. And he listed off his security. He uses Barbecue Firewall. I'm not even sure what that is. Black Hole for Bad Bots, WPS Login Hide, and New User Authorize, and Cloudflare.
New User Authorize. That sounds like it would be useful. Yeah,
I use that one. I just put that one on a website last week. And what it does is it forces them to, I can't remember the precise thing, but I do remember that name of the plugin. Cool. Barbecue Firewall, never heard of.
Barbecue Firewall I've seen. I haven't actually tried it out, though.
All right. You got more questions?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I was just writing down a note about Barbecue Firewall and having to check it out. So, next question is, how can you tell if a security plugin is working if it's a new site?
You don't get hacked?
That's it?
I have no idea. What else is there? If you build a new website, you put new security plugin on it, how do you know it's working? you're not getting hacked. Your traffic is regular traffic. It's not tons of bots. You know, there's no way to gauge it. You don't have a way to gauge it at all.
I guess.
Yeah.
I once had a page on my site compromised by 3 different hackers. They kept replacing each other's spam. So as long as I didn't go elsewhere on my site, I just left them to it.
Yeah. Well, my favorite was the day it was like watching a movie. I was battling a hacker live on my site. I was blocking him, plugging holes, and he was finding new holes in. Took me about an hour to find it. I can't remember what file it was that he was snaking in through finally. But yeah, it was the most entertaining thing I'd done. I didn't even believe it was possible to have that. I only saw that sort of shit in real-time movies.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, my last question is, how do you figure out the combination needed for security plugins that will work for what you want?
You put them together, take the list here from Hemdian and run with that.
Actually, I just had another question kind of popping in my head there.
Mm-hmm.
How can you tell if they're canceling each other out?
You don't have any security? You're getting hacked?
And how can you tell if it's a security plugin or if it's something canceling each other out?
Start by checking your security plugins.
Doesn't quite count as a stump, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You're asking a question that I don't think anybody could really answer except maybe somebody who's watching the live traffic on hitting your website. You have to be watching the live traffic, and seeing where it's going, watching what ports it's heading through, what files are being drawn down, go into the logs of the server and read all the log files to see what they're doing, where they're going. I mean, you can find the information, but it's how deep do you want to dive and how much knowledge do you have to understand the information? Because the information is pretty deep in there. But all the information is like, for those that don't know, servers maintain a log file of everything that has happened on that server. Every file, every image, graphic, where it was pulled, what IP address pulled it, how many times they pulled it, how many times they attacked a certain file. All that information is available in the log files of the server. So. Okay. But those log files get pretty intense, especially during the course of a hack. They get.
Yeah, I've seen those log files. They're pretty intense in general, but then during a hack, they're really crazy.
Yeah, and they take hours to suss through, even with tools to help you read them. So.
Right. So all in all, really, it's just a guessing game, and you just try them out and see if your site stays healthy. It's really what it all comes down to.
That's pretty much it. You try it out, see what happens, and see how well and how healthy your site stays. And if your site stays healthy, your security's doing its job. That's the way I look at it.
All right.
Okay. Well, we got nothing else. An indicator that someone is trying to hack is weird pages listing your 404 log. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's another area. Look in the 404 log. 404 log is usually not as big, but it can be pretty big. All right, well, let's have a little music. Carry us on out of here. Thanks a lot for showing up, Hemdian. We greatly appreciate it.
You always make the show awesome.
Oh, yeah, especially when you toss in the comments.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, folks, that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye bye.
Take care.
Oh my god, that is amazing!
33, that's a magic number.